One of the more challenging things of living in a modern liberal Western state is how the system tries to psych you out. If you stand against it, it will call you all sorts of things from extreme to being full of hate and so on. Now, most of us have heard these word spells so many times that they've lost their power. But from time to time, it does make me question my beliefs and think, am I basing anything on fear or anger or hatred? And yeah, there's the odd resentment I have to deal with every now and again. And maybe I was wrong about a couple of things, but on the whole, I feel like I'm on the straight and narrow. Now, this is why it's quite edifying when you see the results of a poll done recently asking the British people whether they believe the grooming gang scandal was caused by a cover-up and if they believe that we should deport people with dual nationalities who've been involved in grooming gangs. Now, in the interests of fairness, it's worth reporting that this polling was done by JLP pollsters. These people tend to have more of a link to the Conservative Party. However, I don't think that tells us that much, given the Conservative Party didn't actually want to do a report into the grooming gangs themselves, as well as being obviously pro-mass immigration and pro-multiculturalism. Further, JLP do say they weighted the polling towards political party, age, different demographics, and so on that are representative of the country, and the rest of their results show very similar things to other polls, such as the unpopularity of figures like Elon Musk and Tommy Robinson. You can check out the sources in the description. But on to the good stuff. Remember, Keir Starmer told us recently that anybody who wants a report into the grooming gangs is just a far-right agitator. Well, when it comes to the question, do you agree or disagree with the following statement, the grooming gang scandal was caused by a cover-up, 18% strongly agree and 28% of people tend to agree. 39% neither agree nor disagree, probably too scared to say anything, and 10% tend to disagree, with only 4% strongly disagreeing. So in the world of Keir Starmer, it seems that if we add the 18 and 28% together who do believe it was a cover-up, that's basically 46%, half of the country, who are evil far-right scumbags, according to him. Almost 40% of people don't say anything. Well, that means they're all suspicious and would be far right to him. And only 14% are good, moral, intelligent people, as he is. Next up, deportation for anybody who's been involved in grooming gangs if they're a dual national. Another far right talking point, remember. Out of everybody who was questioned on this, 64% strongly supported it and 17% tended to support it. 12% or 13%, I think that is, neither supported nor opposed it. 4% tended to oppose it, with only 3% strongly opposing it. I wonder who that 3% are. If we add together the 64% who strongly support it and the 17% who tend to, that's basically 80% of the country who are evil far-right scumbags. We can also see that 18 to 24-year-olds are the most against any form of deportation. Of course, they take the brunt of the modern-day state brainwashing. But then even they are over 50% collectively. And even when we look at the Labour Party, the Labour voters I should say, even they are 57% strongly in favour. Look at that, Keir. Half of your own supporters are evil far-right lunatics. Now, the subtext to all this explains why the grooming gangs issue just won't go away. Yes, people want to know what really happened. Yes, it's absolutely appalling when you read some of the stories. However, this issue gets to the heart of how power works in states like modern Britain. What this polling effectively proves is that we're ruled by an elitist liberal clique that wants to patrol the borders of acceptable conversation. It wants to completely control the narrative. That's why Keir Starmer is eager to present himself as the brave battler against the evil far right. It's why Jess Phillips wants us to think that she is the real brave feminist victim in all this. Yet in reality, they don't want to report into the grooming gangs because A, it may well show that Labour Party types have been complicit in the cover-up, B, that it would expose the reality of multicultural Britain, that it's not some utopia, and potentially expose the issues within one of their most treasured client groups, and of course C, it would expose their own power and how they function. Of course, if we're wrong about this, then they can just sanction a national inquiry into the grooming gangs. After all, that would prove we are just evil far-right maniacs, only driven by our own hatred. And you're the wonderful, big-hearted liberals that are always right about everything. We'll be waiting for that report, eh? Of course, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think down below. Substack's also available in the links down below where I have more exclusive content. And do consider subscribing to the channel if you're new.